So Dick, can you tell us exactly what have been the benefits of the sort of sharing that you've been involved with Impact and other groups?
It's been a very interesting experience because you've been meeting people from other groups of business. They have wholly different views on the perspective of the problem, and what you're getting is their different view feeding into the practices that you wish to put forward. You get the feel that you can influence what they're doing, and you learn from those things which they do, especially when there have been mistakes. It helps you to get your act together, it helps you to develop best practice, and gives you a great deal of confidence that what you're doing is probably the right theme.
Peter, in thinking about the sort of sharing activity you've been involved in, what has particularly helped and maybe not helped so much in the sharing activity in which you've been involved?
The first item really has to be that of the subject that's chosen, or the topic. It has to be something that everybody understands. It would need to be well defined to make sure that everybody understands the scope within which they're operating, so that perhaps we can avoid any private agenda issues coming up, and too much wasting of time moving off the subject too far. Often the time that people contribute to these things is very tight, and we need to get the best out of their time. Perhaps the next aspect would be facilitation. Frankly, as somebody participating in these events, I appreciate it very much if I can just turn up, find that everything is there, sit down and enter into the discussions and contribute. To have to start worrying about how to find the place, whether I've got the papers and so on, is an unnecessary problem. That might sound a bit trite, but it actually has quite an effect on the event. Personally speaking, I turn my mobile phone off. This tends to help me concentrate, and would very much appreciate the other participants doing much the same. The venue itself's got to be comfortable. It's got to be easy to get to. That's quite a significant issue when we're talking about distances travelled by people, particularly if we're talking overseas. Beyond that, broad representation amongst the participants, where it's important for us to have people contributing a variety of views or perspectives on the subject. That way we all gain from it, and when we leave we feel as though we've covered the subject as amply as necessary, and that the quality of information that comes out is as good as we can get. I think those are the main elements. Again, from a personal perspective, I try to make time at the end of such sessions to sit down quietly and to gather my thoughts, record the outworkings of the day, because frankly once I get back to the office there are many other things there to distract and deflect me from doing that.
Sue, I know you've been very heavily involved in sharing across the aerospace industry. Can you give us some specific examples of the sort of benefits that have accrued to you and your organisation?
Yes, I think so. The aerospace industry, obviously the products that we're dealing with are fairly complex. Typically, if you take an aircraft, you've got something like 70% of the total cost of that aircraft comes from the supply chain. So the supply chain is absolutely crucial to delivering the end product. There might be upwards of 10,000 suppliers in the chain, of whom 4,000 might be absolutely critical to delivering the end product. It's obviously essential that those suppliers share all their information. We're all dependent on one another. In fact, without those 4,000 suppliers, we might have complete failures in the chain. Some suppliers might even go out of business. So it's in the interest of everybody together to share what information they can to produce a reliable solution at the lowest possible cost. We haven't got money to waste. We need to be able to test the final product, and to do that everybody must get together and talk and share information to the best of their ability.
Thank you very much indeed.